Burn the boats. You hear it from entrepreneurs all the time. You've probably seen posts on social media telling you to quit your job and jump headfirst into being an entrepreneur. But let's be honest, for most people, that's a terrible idea because you have rent, mortgages, living expenses, and family obligations. Quitting a stable job to chase a business dream without a solid plan can lead to failure. But where does this idea come from? Why do people say, burn the boats? Well, let me tell you a story. It all goes back to history, and you're going to love this one. It's about a Spanish conquistador. In the early 16th century, Hernan Cortes, a Spanish conquistador, embarked on a journey to the New World to conquer the vast and wealthy Aztec Empire, now in Mexico. It was a time of great explorers and great conquests, and Cortes, dreams of glory and riches, wanted to etch his name in the annals of history. Cortes' expedition was the first to reach the New World, but he intended to be the most successful. With a fleet of 11 ships, 500 men, 13 horses, and a few cannons, he landed on the Yucatan Peninsula in 1519. The Aztec Empire was formidable, rich in culture, military might, and resources. He knew that success required not just military strategy, but also psychological tactics. Here's where the legend takes a fascinating turn. Understanding the psychological barrier of retreat, he made a bold decision. He ordered his men to burn their ships. As the flames consumed the fleet, a clear message was sent. There was no turning back. They had to either conquer or perish. This radical move was about more than just preventing physical retreat. It was about instilling a mindset of resilience and unyielding commitment. The men, now stranded, knew their survival depended on their success. They had to adopt, form alliances, and above all, believe in their mission. His strategy was risky, yet effective. Without the safety net of their ships, his men were more motivated and united in their cause. That psychological edge, coupled with his leadership in military tactics, eventually led to the fall of the Aztec Empire. But it doesn't have to be this way for everyone. In fact, I don't think it should be this way for many of you. This is where I love to talk about the Spider-Man approach. So, the Spider-Man approach is what I advocate for most people who need a steady income to pay rent, cover their mortgage, and provide for their family. In fact, it's what I've been doing for the last 3 to 4 years. Have you ever noticed Spider-Man often stays attached to one building until he's securely attached to another? Shoots the web, lets go of the last building, and he swings to the next web, like you would on a jungle gym. That's how he's able to be safe and secure as he travels. The idea behind side hustling follows this line of thinking. It's starting a new venture while still holding on to your 9-to-5 job. You're not giving up your income and going all in on the new venture. You're building it on the side until it can become a full-time endeavor. Let me give you an example. Imagine you're a young woman who's an accountant, but you're passionate about mindfulness, financial independence, hobby farms, homesteading, motherhood, and what's now commonly referred to as the trad wife lifestyle. You could decide to quit your 9-to-5 and pursue these areas all in, but how will you make money? What's your path? For most of us who pursue a lifestyle as a creator, it generally takes 3 to 4 years before we can make substantial income. Instead, this young woman could start to write on Twitter, share images on Instagram, and record videos for her YouTube channel. Based on audience engagement, she could decide where to focus her time and efforts. Always remembering the key maxim: focus on the intersection of what your audience wants and what you love to do. If people love your images on Instagram, but you hate the process, don't do it. As a colleague said to me once, to succeed in life, you need to be willing to do what others aren't for long periods. If you don't love what you're doing, you won't last long enough to make money from doing it. This young woman may decide to pursue these paths as a side hustle until she's able to generate 50% of her income on a part-time basis. basis, with the idea that she can earn more if she moves from part-time to full-time. That, my friends, is the Spider-Man approach. But I've got to warn you, it also has its own downsides. When you're doing the Spider-Man approach, you're working a lot. Think about it. You've got your 9 to 5 and you're building your own side hustle business. It isn't easy. It's exhausting and it can only be done for so long. Trust me. I'm recording an episode later on hitting the wall. And when you're doing the Spider-Man approach, you will often hit the wall. This is why at some point you might decide it's time to move from Spider-Man to burning your boats. So whether you're considering burning the boats or swinging like Spider-Man, remember each approach has its own risks and rewards. Evaluate your personal situation, your responsibilities, and your goals, and decide what route you're going to take.